Three, two, one, go! It is 6:55 on Thursday, Halloween night. Boogie with Bull Uncensored. Dave Glovin, Michael Anthony, and neither one of us are probably too uncensored tonight, so I'm sure you'll, you'll enjoy the broadcast. Going to talk about a lot of things, and not talk about a lot of things that you might hope that we talk about tonight, but we're just not going to talk about them tonight. Talk about things we don't normally talk about tonight, and Michael Anthony will lead us through a smorgasbord of topics that will feed you on a Halloween night. How's that?
Yeah, it's not all spectacular. I mean, it's not all that way. It really isn't, but we can bring up some things, So one of the things, and hello everybody, the big trick or treat things. It's about the kids. It's about all those smiles and memories and excitement, seeing the children out there just, having the freedom to run. But do they? And hide and play games and get candy. But do they really, when you think about it? Because over the years, there seems even to be a mandating of time where they're already telling you, above you as a parent, that they will decide how long your child can be outside for. So just think about this. Where are we? How did we get here? Who's responsible? Who let this get by the way it has? I mean, it all comes from everything we think about as what we know and have discussed for 4 years, authoritarianisms, all the isms and disms, it doesn't matter. They are dictators and they have dictated to our children. Next year, if we don't win, it'll probably be all about rainbows and Lucky Charm costumes only, meaning the gayism, the transitionisms, and all these things that they want. And that puts me in one hell of a spot of unhappiness and uneasiness. And I hope it does the same for you.
It
People
does.
are addressing this on their own sides, also, Dave, in a way where they're now dressing up as trash cans because of Biden's comment and wearing trash bags, standing in front of their homes. And soon, I'm sure there will be a law put in place where you can no longer do that. Anyway, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I actually posted on Facebook today because MAGA would become Make America Garbage Again if we take the word garbage and use it the way people are. And I wrote that, and then I said to myself, we're not garbage. We want to make America great again. Instead of make America garbage again, we would change MAGA to MADA, like MADA. And we could all go around and ask each other, what's the MADA? And MADA is make America deplorable again. And deplorable is okay because we're all deplorables. I don't want to think of myself as garbage. Really. I really don't.
I don't think anybody does. And I mean, but I do believe when Biden said it, um, he was actually pointing the finger at all of us,
He was.
all of our families, all of our children. Um, so there's no heart in this man. There's no heart for the public, for all equalness and fairness. It's a one sided illustration of what their democracy means to them, not what democracy means to the entitlements of every American.
Yeah.
That's when they wipe us off the board, just as Hillary Clinton did, calling us deplorables. And that's why I'm sure Trump came out with the, uniform and riding down the road and arriving, in style and a garbage truck. There's no other way to present it to anybody here about what we're talking about. But one of the other things is, I think the trash can scenario. We have another one here. Now, the polls have had a year to prepare, and yet they are failing. We are hearing about, you know, paper ballots, no paper. is like it as if there's some type of shortage on this special paper. We're out of ballots. You're not going to vote today. Uh, how do you address this when you think about it? If you were to go on November 5th, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they tell you that they're out of a ballot, they can't tell you to come back tomorrow to vote.
Well,
So will your vote ever matter? Will we see the same things? Because so many people last year tried to vote, showed up to vote, and there were same similarities of many things that went on. So that is disheartening. Right now, if people were to show up, the possibility of tomorrow paper ballots being brought back, resupplied, ready for the public, maybe everybody, because of the place and strength and where we are in our minds, we would say, this is a pain in the ass, but I'm going to go because right now it matters more than ever. But if it was to happen midday, November 5th, and it happens in a lot of places, that could really hurt the outcome of this election. And I think they are trying to set stages. And while I'm talking about setting stages, some of the sanctuary cities where I go into these rooms and I pretend to be another person and I listen to what's going on, it seems these sanctuary cities already have plans for Harrison Walz's win. They're setting stages up already, victory stages and celebrations early, and receiving party favors and all the things that they want to have for their new society of their new America, the new world order. I think they're jumping in a little too quick, but they are preparing. They are doing these things. So you can't count on the polls. The paper seems to be missing. And then you have to have the courts now putting court orders in place is in the poll saying under no circumstances can you close early for any reason. So that may put a chain effect, the domino effect in place where, in fact, somebody's going to look out.
I think you're right. I think it's messed up. In thinking about the broadcast tonight, to be honest with you, when you said
you're lost. I got it.
No. When you said we should not do politics, it made me think of a Dennis DeYoung Music of Sticks concert where he comes out.
Welcome to the Grand Illusion.
And the Grand Illusion is playing under him, the intro, which can be almost album length, just being the intro. The music is going, and he says, I want you to remember, when you hear Dennis DeYoung and the music of Sticks, you come inside because we're not thinking about out there. We're just taking some time away and getting away from that. It used to be when we were kids, our folks took us to baseball games, basketball games, football games, whatever, the movies. And it was to get away from bullshit better. And no one knows bullshit on Facebook better than me. But, and it's hard because I sat down at my desk and I just kept saying to Donna, what are we going to talk about tonight? All I do is politics. I'm a political broadcast. I tell people Boogie with the Bull broadcast are politics plus whatever comes out of my mouth, and everything else that comes out of my mouth is politics.
Yeah, well, that's why I do different formats, because to be honest with you, a lot of the groups don't want to hear about what we have to say if we cross the line into a different subject matter. Hey, William Grandson, good evening to you, William. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. So just general, easy conversation and discussion tonight with me and Dave. So we have Trump. He's a warrior. Does anybody remember, Dave? Do you remember the soccer ball, the handoff? I brought that up many times in the past. I know I talk about the laptops, the 3 laptops of importance, where everything is there, but the bigger scenario is that secret handoff of the soccer ball. Do you remember when Putin handed that to Trump?
I do, but the more I think about it, it was wanting to know if there was something inside the soccer ball
Of course there is.
that he was handing Trump, rather than just saying, Donald, here is
He did it in front of the world.
all the secrets that we have. I want you to win. I want you to be president. I want you to be my friend. Here is, but he couldn't do that. He couldn't go on stage.
Okay, don't get all freaked out now, man. Keep it real.
I know, but he couldn't go on stage and say, "Hey, Donald, here is the bag of all the secrets, all the things that."
It's the secrets behind the secrets behind the uranium, the Ukrainian, and much more. But the bottom line is they are in fear. And what are they doing? Well, Harris is going to be back now in Pittsburgh in a couple days. Pittsburgh again, the battle for the state of Pennsylvania. And she's going to be here representing White Dudes for Harris. These last minute gentlemen.
If I post a flyer on Facebook, White Dudes for Harris present Harris at wherever it's going to be, Facebook is going to come after me and nail me for harassing white dudes of Harris.
Well, that's because, there's a conflict of words and empowerment of words for everything that happens. And since it's Halloween, I want everybody to understand words are presentations of spells. And that's what laws are. That's what permits are. It's a spell over you in a certain context. Remember how and why they use everything they use and what the symbolisms behind them are. It's spells. And if they write it properly and use the proper etiquette, no matter what it is, they create the suppression. It's a dark matter of events that they can instill upon us. And they have. It's the same with telling your child over your voice, over your good parenting, that your child's only allowed to be out to trick or treat for 1 hour tonight. It's an abomination of where we are. But White Dudes for Harris, let me go back to this, okay? Because this is really important. It's something that she's up to, and it's no good as always, because, when they use and abuse you, it's like anybody, and like Diddy, you'll be behind bars, or they just won't care about you. You'll never hear from them again. You'll never see them again. As long as they got you to do what they wanted, you'll mean nothing to them. Trick or treat on that for a while. Remember Boys to Men?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it may be a little bit more like Boys for Men, and that we got to keep that in mind as to how she's collecting and how Biden and Jill came to some of these more feminist type male people that were in like the hair business and were doing pictures and photo ops with them. All for bullshit, not for love for these people. But these people were lost in the fact of idolism and role modelism, that these people are fascinating. And if I get my picture with them, I'm going to get rich. Well, you know what? I hope you get rich. You fall when you never live to see the dime get spent. But now what they're doing is they're being pretty ingenious here. They're invading crowds. Now, listen, this is very, very specific. For gain purposes only, because she is a political opportunist, as I've told everybody. She can't get people on her own. She has to pay them to go into a transgender bathroom to help her right now where she is in this election. So they're working on deals with bands backstage, getting tickets, giving people signs, and then she walks out in the middle of a concert to do fake photo ops to make herself look better, to plant people in the seats, holding the signs, so it looks like she, in fact, brought all the people in to a rally, which is not even her rally. It's a band who could sell out a venue, not her, who can't bring anybody into a venue. 4 years back, Lady Gaga came here for Biden, and nobody showed up. I mean, if they had 1,000 people, and it was probably under it, I was told about 500-600 at that point in time. That was all they seen with one of the biggest voices in America. So they didn't even pull it off then. Listen, Trump never lost anything. Trump is going to, he won one, he's going to win two, and he's going to win the third time around. But they're going to do whatever they can. This is another way that they are doing what they do to make themselves look bigger. But while she is in Pennsylvania, down at the point, what we call the Three Rivers at the Point, for a rally with music, again, using a venue to create a crowd so she has somebody to talk to. And I hope they boo her off the stage. But while she's doing that, Trump's going to be at PPG, Pittsburgh Arena, home of the Penguins. And he is going to be having his little to do. And it will be
much greater with a small, intimate crowd of 100,000 people. And at least 150, 200,000 people outside hoping they get a chance to go in, even if it's only for 30 seconds.
Exactly. But again, how she is doing it is because they have failed so miserably. They're trying to figure out how they can make greatness come forth and look better, even though it's all a lie. When you have to buy tickets and make deals with a venue or a place, and then bring in people and hand them signs and tell her to get behind. Now, these are assigned seats. When they're assigned seats, you can place Harris signs sporadically wherever you want. It doesn't mean it's real. They're all plants. They're her moles. They're her ones that she calls upon while she's here, related to this person, related to that person, representing this company, representing that company, where the money's been going to build back America better under their plan, investing in the Pennsylvania, and they have been. But that's even been a disaster. They've started work everywhere, and you can't get around it anywhere, and none of the work is actually totally complete, except for probably 10% of 100 that they started on. So you have that scenario, and this is the failure of what these people are truly about. They are in no position to take America forward in any way. It will take too much money to do, but it's also going to take a hell of a lot of money for Trump to think and look about the disruptions that haven't been finished here in Pennsylvania that will now need addressed. But we also need changes in our offices here. You know, we're having problems here. We really are. We just lost a chief of police all over the fact that he was, a referee at basketball games, and he had some type of side deal. It was said that he actually, between the chief of police and the mayor, Gainey, had an agreement where if something special came up for him, he would turn a blind eye and allow him to do it. But yet they came after him and said, you never had the permission, you weren't allowed. And he said, well, then I guess I have no choice but to get out of here. So now we don't have a chief of police.
Yeah, they set him up, played him, and then kicked him to the curb.
Yeah, it just goes that way. You know, that's how they do it. Now, here's something else that's making news today, okay? And then we can take some questions. And I didn't want to go too hard, too fast. And if you missed anything, go back to the beginning, because there's some really important criteria in there, even though we're just having a very light discussion. I can go rather hard, just put the information together the best way you can.
Okay.
So in South Carolina, it seems that there was, kind of a fight broke out. Now, I didn't even know this, but in South Carolina, and this was reported on AOL News, if you go in to vote and you have on a MAGA hat, a Trump T-shirt, anything, that's illegal.
It's actually illegal in most states. You can't wear or have anything 100 feet within the pole. Now, what I've always questioned, and no one's given me an answer, is you're wearing a Trump hat. You're standing in line to vote. You're not there campaigning for him. You're just wearing a hat that shows that you, Michael Anthony, are going to vote for Trump. It doesn't mean me, Dave Glovin, behind you is going to vote for Trump. You're not telling people to vote for Trump because that's not allowed. So, to me, it's like I said on Jerry's show last night, I don't understand what the problem is. If I want to wear a Trump shirt in and you want to wear a Biden shirt in or a Harris shirt in, we should stand next to each other and go in and vote. And then,
again, it goes back to reflect to our civil rights and mandating and presenting effects. whether it's how long your child's allowed to go out to trick or treat, or whether you're allowed to wear a pair of Trump tennis shoes into a poll to vote.
Mhm.
And I agree, that maybe some things could be complicated there because nobody wants either side to say, maybe I should vote for that other guy. Maybe the other side
Right.
says, or two people say, maybe I should be in the other line. I don't know. But I didn't know that this was in effect in South Carolina. I thought that some of the southern people were a little bit above this, and
Yeah.
where some of the ones who really fight hardest for our civil rights, I don't know how this got passed there. Again, I thought it was important to bring up a few of these things. One where Harris is invading the venues to make herself look big and
Yeah,
do
that's
photo
ridiculous.
ops. It's all special performance shit. It's not her.
But
It's not her people. She's using other people's strengths to utilize their stage to look better. She's a political opportunist. I can't
but
say that enough. I always have said it.
but is she coming in and saying, "Hey, I'll give you $50,000 if you give me, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to make it look like you're here supporting me," or is she just showing up saying, "Because I'm the vice president, you got to let me in, and I get to talk to the crowd for as long as I want
Yeah.
to
Well,
campaign for president"?
again, I don't
The
know
man,
every one of those specifics.
yeah,
I just know it's happening.
yeah, I'm sure it is. You know,
And remember, they can CGI what they want to deliver through the media. That's what
yep,
Mockingbird was all about.
yep,
That's what Anderson Cooper was all about. He was the head, one of the heads of that system of narrating how the system would work because of who he is, the power that his family had, who he's related to, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
Because that's the system that always comes back into focus.
His mother was Gloria Vanderbilt.
Yeah. But he also has a redheaded sister who is a comedian that nobody knows that she uses a
Kathy.
name.
Wait a minute, Kathy. I won't say her last name because I hate her guts, but Kathy is related to
Let's
Anderson.
just say that there was a problem between her and the fact that Trump
The
won.
one holding the head.
Sort of wanted to
Okay,
have his head on the plate.
I never knew that,
Yeah.
and now I'm seeing in my head. I'm seeing her
Well,
face
look at
and
Ellen.
his face.
Look at Ellen D. Ellen
Ellen,
D. and Rothschilds. Take a
Ellen
good look at
DeGenerate.
their faces. Same
Ellen, De,
thing.
Ellen DeGenerate.
Ellen and Rothschild. It's distant, but they are all related. Look, it's a big conglomerate of family.
She's in big trouble because I guess she's trying to make it sound like. I guess she said on one of her shows with him once that you never invite me to your birthday parties. And he said, I always invite you to my birthday parties, but you don't go. And then he said, she asked him, what time did they start? Well, like 9 o'clock at night. And then they go till like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then they go to a hotel for the after party at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And she said, well, I don't know about that. And rumor has it she was in the planning with it.
Yeah, well, it may
Was
not
an
exactly
investor in
been a
that.
hotel that they were referring to, though,
No,
either. And
no.
if we look into some of Clyde's work in Club 11 and Michael down there in Club 11, hi, Mike. Yeah, you probably hate my guts for saying that, but you know what? I don't really care. That's the system of it. But look, they talk about these underneath things. They do exist. They went to Hefner's. Hefner had them. He wanted to lock down all the property as much as he could. He had to buy the house next door just to keep people from invading through those tunnel systems. And he put a young lady in that had bared his child because he didn't want her to have any involvement. He wanted that child raised differently, even though when you look at the matter of the facts, he was an old man with young women, like Boys for Men. Same difference. It's all about getting to the youngest ones that you can and destroying their lives and destroying their manhoods and their womanhoods and their natural elements of life that, but anyway, it's destructive. It's and buying somebody a car, whether it's worth 250,000 or 350. So what? That doesn't cure what you did with them.
No.
But nevertheless, it's part of the system of the down. As I said, everything is there. The wording was not there by accident. It's too big of an accident to have things that blend so well together and match up so greatly. But isn't that the way? Welcome to the grand illusion. You know, come on in and see what's happening. So, anyway, when you have that, you have opportunity.
It,
I've
it'll
watched videos
it
of
will
Diddy telling off
break my
people.
heart. It will break my heart if anyone ever tells me that Dennis DeYoung might have been or wasn't involved in any of this Diddy type crap that we're talking about, because he's been like the god of key. The only one that's more of a keyboard god than he is Daryl Dragon from the Captain and Tennille, and I guess he played with the Beach Boys, and I think he played with the Beatles too for a little bit of time. But I mean, and that's the thing right now. Everybody is suspecting, Taylor Swift gets accused of being involved with Diddy. Then the next thing you know, this musician's going to be involved, and that musician's going to be involved. Almost to the point where even if you're not involved, you want the rumor to go around because your ticket sales are going to spike and or drop or.
Yeah. Well,
We're,
they're
we're,
they're
we're just messed up. We're just really messed up right now.
well, no, it's always been messed up. You're just seeing things in the light now. That's the grand awakening. That's
Yep,
part of the illusion.
yep,
It was meant to happen. I can't say any other words for it because I
yep.
followed it too long, and it's falling into place just like that. And it's nothing that I wished for, but I knew was ugly. But again, not everybody was looking for that type of content or to understand that it existed out there or what all these private clubs were about and why so many people were living so many different types of lifestyles. This wasn't about the lifestyles of the rich and famous, but it surely freaking was.
It was.
Um, Again, everything was backed by money, including that show. So when you know the paper trail and you watch the water and
Yep,
understand how the currents of the water flow down through the banks along the river. It goes and filtrates itself through
yep,
all the
yep.
rich and wealthy banks. And so you got to understand how it works and how maritime law fits into some of this. And that is how they cloak themselves, including with laws and judges. Look, I have a young lady here in Pittsburgh. She, beyond me, got elected somehow to a higher position. She failed Pittsburgh residents by not helping when COVID hit and the unemployment pandemic system failed in Pennsylvania. And at least 15 to 17% never received the dime that we're entitled to. And she didn't want to do the work to get them the money. And why is that? Because any leftover goods at the end could be dispersed somewhere else as long as it looked like it was funding something for the big C. So she did that. She just basically spit in people's faces directly by not doing anything. Well, she's devising as a puppet through Harris now that they are going to. Let me get to my page here. I wrote down a couple notes on this, and it's really important to
Okay.
be a puppet for Harris in Allegheny County as a commissioner. So she gets elected in. She slams it. Don't even ask me how she. This it's selection, not election. That's faculty of fact.
Okay.
Decides to break the law on her own. She wants to utilize a property, a nursing home facility that was falling low, not much of a head count, and I'm not saying that with ignorance. And they wanted to do something different. And the neighborhood was like, wait a minute, we want to weigh in on this. We have the right to weigh in through council and through the mayor's chambers to where we can be heard. They wind up getting an attorney. They get an attorney. They file injunctions. They stop
Yep.
everything she does. She doesn't wait for the judge's decision. You know, she went and opened it up without their permission anyway. So this is the strength of what they can do. This neighborhood is only about 5 to 7 minutes from me. It's Stanton
Okay.
and Negley. It was the old
Yep.
Negley nursing home.
Okay.
She took it over as a transitioning facility above the law. And so far, this judge has said nothing to the fact that she did that and basically kicked him right in his, you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of actions that's going on all throughout Pennsylvania. It's going throughout everywhere. They're overstepping the judges now. They don't care. They already feel they have victory won. They already have celebration things coming in. They're setting up stages. They're getting ready to party. The rainbows, the Lucky Charms, the city
But,
streets filled with drag queens and all this other
but they
idiosyncrasies
don't
that they use.
they don't do any thinking that maybe Trump's going to reach into his magic hat and pull out victory, and they're going to lose, and then they're going to have to stand before all these judges again and say, because I mean, I'm assuming this judge is a Democrat judge. He's gonna look at them and go, I gave an order that said you can't do this, and you went ahead and did this anyway,
Yeah,
and you
this is
you
decision
lost
was pending, Dave.
right, but you lost you guys lost this election, and because you stepped on me as a judge, I'm going to fry you, and it doesn't matter. It should matter more that I'm a Democrat judge, but I'm going to fry you because you violated
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Overstepping, overreach, abuse of power. It's everything we've discussed over the past 4 years. This young lady just demonstrated it exists in our injustice system in Pennsylvania. And he does have the power, but does he have the power to create the action behind it to make something happen about what she did? Now, this judge is faced with people have nowhere to go because she made sure when she did it, she filled it. It was an
Yeah,
overnight reaction to action. So he's now faced with the other issue. What do I do? Put 60 people out on the streets because of her stupidity? Or do I go after her legally? And he probably has a legal recourse to do it, going to the district attorney and more and discussing this and saying this woman needs removed from her office. What she did was out of reach, abuse of power. I don't know how that's going to work out. And we also have another problem in Lancaster, Pennsylvania that come up. Two problems. One
I can,
is
I
voting
can, I
frauds
can,
that are
I
going.
can name.
I know why you're
I can.
laughing. I don't really care about that at
Okay.
all. I
Okay.
know
All
exactly
right.
what you're thinking.
Okay.
The signatures on
I'll
many
be here.
ballots have been matched to one person's handwriting. So that's another scenario that's going on that has now been verified. But the director of the polls
Yeah.
is saying that we're looking at everything and we're going to abide by all the laws and standards. And we're going to make sure that we are in good standards for the community, for the integrity of for the vote, for the election. So you have that going on. Then also you have still things going on that are quite of a mystery. November is now being told that we're going to be going into one of the heighted uh, probabilities of hurricanes. I'm just maybe I'm just thinking it's an early warning sign for something because normally when they do that, something occurs. But it's bigger than that. In Oklahoma, 2,500 acres are burning now. But here's the whole thing there, um, it's only private owned lands. So mysteriously, all these people's lands are burning up. They don't know how they started. They all been spot fires as if someone caused them all. Of course, they know that, but they're all owned by private people. They're owned private lands, and why is nothing around it that ties into them burning? But only there. Is it another land grab? You can't take it out of. You can't take it off the page. You got to keep it on the plate. It's something sizzling here, something stinks as it always does. So, one of the other last things that I'm going to bring up, and then we can talk about anything you want.
Anyway.
In California, when
Yeah.
you go in to vote, I guess there's like a board in California, they're using their Dominion, whatever. And Trump's name didn't make the top list. Trump is actually a bottom feeder at the bottom, at the very, very bottom. You have to search for Trump for president. Otherwise, you're going to see another list of some names, two other names, and Harris made the top of the list. But why wouldn't she? She was the leader with the swipe of the pen in California that helped assist, that didn't stop any cease and desist, and accomplished everything that she wanted to keep the wealthy happy and keep the ones in prison that what she was asked to. She did her job. She did her good deeds. So she has become at the top. When you come in the vote, the top of the screen will say Harris. And it seems like there may be a little prejudice here as well, because it seems to be a little bolder and bigger than Donald J. Trump, being headed as we are. Like when you try to share or make a post and you get a thing that says your feeds will now go to the lower. Yeah. What about that? Anyway, go ahead, read some comments.
So Bottom Feeder Broadcasting is a division of Boogie with the Bull anyway. But Robin Brunson brought up, I don't know why it didn't make it onto this screen, but a lot
Bronson
of
and
people
Bronson? You talking about the Bronson and Bronson case? Did they have a
No. Robin Brunson is a person who watches all the time.
Okay.
And she brought up what a lot of people seem to be bringing up lately, and I haven't followed it to do any research. Evidently, there are reports that Trump and another guy paid $30 million to a lady to keep her quiet.
I know about that. It's coming through the Daily Mail.
Is it?
It's coming through the Daily Mail right now. I don't know the factuality of it. The Daily Mail has been pretty forthright and honest, but I'm not saying all of their information is 100%. But however, this reporter journalist claims that he had actually shared time in person with her and took her story. And some of the story is quite graphic in Trump's actions towards her at a pageant. So, yeah, that is now come out. And of course, what other number wouldn't come out? We've had so many things that we witnessed in front of the world of all his wrongdoings where nothing had any probable cause or proof to prove anything of it. So here we now have another young lady stepping in. Isn't this not convenience? I don't know how to take it. I can say one thing. The Daily Mail should have probably thought twice about how and when they released this, in all actuality, because if he did do something that was so disturbing, it wouldn't matter if you're president or before an election. You would have to, face the music, so to speak. I don't know if this is factual, David. I really don't, but I know the case. Yes, I know all about the case. I read it well. I know every time he touched her, where he touched her, how, what his approach was, the words that were used. I'm saying something smells funny.
Yeah. Nobody's asking me if I have any information about it. They're just asking me all over Facebook, do I know about it? And I keep saying,
now you do.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about it, so I really can't. I don't have a comment on it, but okay.
And I'm not the best at things, but the things that you brought up, I made the comments the best I could as to what I know they are, and it is Daily Mail.
Let's see, what else? Something
I'm going to have a cigarette.
You're going to what? You're going to have a cigarette. Okay, have a cigarette. And tell me something non-political that you're working on right
now. Before we do that, why don't we check into what Chuck has to say and what other comments are there and send some hellos out.
Yeah, well, Chuck is watching. He was taking part in a trunk or treat tonight, and let me know in advance that he could not be here tonight. I believe Jen Woodruff is enjoying Halloween with her family and could not be here tonight. And I think that's the extent of the people that I had invited up until we decided that you and I were going to do a Michael and Dave for an hour.
Oh, you begged me to do it.
I did. But
hey, look, it's okay. It's okay. So anyway, Chuck, let me say this. I don't know a lot about you, but I do say this. It humbles me to know that, you're the type of guy that is trying to do something that helps the children have a better time. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for that. But I know a lot of people are doing it too. there's a lot of good people, patriots out there that are trying to help everybody. And this is just wonderful that we're seeing such come forth right now, especially as we get down to the wire, pull the red lever. Romy Rayfield stopped through. I haven't seen William Ray in a long Ray time.
Robin asked Ray in the live chat if he heard anything, and Ray's response was simply to Robin, "No, I don't, but I don't care," which can be a good response for a conservative Trump guy anyway, because Ray is the kind of guy, that's what his mark is. He wants to give you the actual factual. The factual in this case probably is, as the Daily Mirror is saying, it's probably BS. But because they're a good British paper, they can't just come out and say it's bullshit. They have to use more professional words than saying it. They have to say it's bull excrement. They can't just say it's bullshit.
Well, you have to keep in mind one of the key features that I said, that he also did an interview with somebody about his interview with this young lady.
Yeah.
So the journalist, the man behind it, and I'm not going to say his name because, again, this could turn into some type of big, I'm suing everybody kind of deal. Right. You don't usually take measures to go in that direction. I mean, look what happened to Trump's attorney. When you do things like that, look how they work out for someone. It can. So just to say that, but again, I get that Ray's like, in his own place. I mean, I truly get it. And I'm sure he's highly pissed off at everything he's witnessing and seeing. He wants the best thing for everybody. I would think. I know who the guy is. You know who he is.
I do.
So whatever with that, that's all I can say. Stephen Gluck came in, huh? Okay. Donald Trump is accused. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Sports Illustrated, model back 1990. Yes. Again, glad that they're saying it because I don't want to utilize the names. I know what the names were. But again, I'm just better I don't. Okay. I don't want to cause you no problems.
No. Dr. Randy Rhodes says that Donald Trump is accused of sexual misconduct with Stacey Williams, a Sports Illustrated model back in 1993. Now, my big thing is that if this is 1993, and what they did was between consenting adults, what they did was between consenting adults and not anything that violated any laws or could have been seen as violating any laws back in 1993. I don't care about it. And it's not even statute. I don't care about it. We're in 2024. 1993 was a world away.
And look, he's been up against the world of porn and won. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, did he win? He won, lost. It's kind of like one of those things. I mean, if I had to do something to make something go away, I'd probably want to do it too. I'd be in disgust about it. But sometimes that's the easiest curement. I think a lot of people are going to suffer consequences at his hand. And that's one of the other scenarios of where we are in the United States of America. These people fear what he will do when he resides again on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Didn't the $130,000 in hush money to Stormy end up being traced back to Michael, what's his name? Cohen, who was a Trump attorney at the time and had access to Trump funds, making that payment.
Well, you saw how that all worked out, right?
Yep. Yeah, Michael went to jail. And supposedly he came back out and testified thinking that he was going to be exonerated. From what I understand, he may be back before a judge and back in jail again.
Well, I think he went over the ethic of what could be discussed and not discussed in the future. And maybe his anger got the best of him on some of that. I don't know. Look, it's too much. We went through how many different scenarios in 4 years, and not even 4 years, in the 8 years. And do you think that even if he makes presidency again, which he should landslide this with no problem.
Right.
In my mind, he should really landslide it.
Right.
that doesn't mean on day one that there's not going to be 1,000 documents already being prepared right now for that big event on some way to somehow supersede his power from him in ways. But look, Marjorie Taylor Greene filed in 2020 because of what she found out on Biden for impeachments. Where are those papers? So look at the strength. The true strength is on a different side. It's the oppositions. It's the defense versus the offense here. That's what we're talking about. One is highly stronger than the other. I think there's going to be a lot of different type of people. I think there's going to be people working in the background through the White House that are going to be there addressing a lot of things the same way as some of these good attorneys came up and represented Trump in the court hearings. And they were phenomenal when you look at the outcomes of every freaking single one of them. So they better really have their cards in check. Otherwise, Trump will be taking every penny their families have. And while he's at it, and he goes after these people and he dismisses them from their jobs, they should remove every eligibility of benefit that goes with that from them. Every single one. And if they are found in some way more than legally held accountable for crimes on humanity, they should take everything through the government's hands and powers from them and do the same to them and their families as they have done to our families.
Do you think any portion of his 2024 to 2024 term, even if it's people in the back offices that are not speaking to the press, do you think he's going to go after, like Georgia, is he going to go after Fannie and Nathan? Is he going to go after Judge Merchan in New York?
I think he's going to go after every dishonest criminal that was out there that went against him, went against
President
humanity.
of the United States, can he get Merchan thrown off the bench for this if that case is dismissed? Because Merchan's the one who went in there. Merchan's the one who went in there, and he's guilty, and he's going to be found guilty in my courtroom even before it was heard. Go ahead.
Hold on one second. You're asking me something that I have information to, but I don't. I didn't look it up. Hold on.
Okay.
No, you got to understand business corporate law.
Yep.
That's what this is. Business corporate law.
Okay.
Works one way as a corporation. But if Trump actually dissolved the corporation, then it turns to maritime law. It could turn into military law.
Now, what are you talking about? The United States of America Incorporated?
I'm talking about the overall everything, because possibilities exist within every foundation of what these are. And I would have to go in to look. But what I'm trying to say to you, it depends if this is the proper representation. I didn't look it up. It would take me probably an hour to go through it, look for precedents, look for case matters, look for names, look for results, look for the verdicts. And I know a lot about this crap. I really do. But here's the thing. No, here's the
military tribunal that some of these attorney generals and district attorneys and judges go through. If they go through a military tribunal, it's are you guilty of doing what you did? And if they say yes, the answer is,
Wow, graphic, but it is Halloween. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, here's the deal. We don't know everything. Look, if we did, we wouldn't be in this predicament.
Right.
Or why this predicament exists. But we do know one of the reasons why is because they strong-armed so many people. And you have to understand, how did they do that? What did they have on them? And who were the ones that would accept money for favors and things of that nature? And which riches for wealth, information, stock market, all this shit. Look, you would take down probably 90% of Washington to do that. And I don't know how far he intends to go on it. But I think if he can make point on certain people that we know are actually highly guilty, then the shit's going to fall. And a lot of people are going to come forward and want deals. And that's going to start the domino effect there. of course, again, right now, having another woman come up and give her all about something that may or may not have happened, and I can't say that it did, not even because the Daily Mail is saying we have facts and proof of this. What are your facts and proofs? You're believing somebody's story, but what if they are sitting in front of you and they're a barefaced liar? They're an habitual liar. We don't know nothing about this person or her integrity, but we do see how the integrity works. It surrounds everything that we deal with. So we have to take everything with a grain of salt, not because it was a person from 1993 who was in a pageant and she claims this and made that claim to that. It doesn't matter. And hasn't Trump taken pictures with everybody in the world? And in some way, does that give him involvement with them? No, because everybody wanted to know Donald Trump.
Right.
Trump also liked a lot of people and didn't have maybe some ideas of what was really going on in the backdrop. But I do believe through the periods of time before he ever took that great escalator ride, he was finding out a lot about a lot of things and he knew them. Because why do I say that? He already told us over and over and over. I knew about it. He never denied. And that's why he was the first one saying that human trafficking happens in many ways, and we have many problems. We have coyotes, we have drug problems, we have cartels, we have MS-13, we have all these scenarios of problem. But the ones that most concerned him were the ones that he was using repetitiously and always did use them repetitiously. Those were the ones. And he was directing his fingers exactly to what we are talking about right now on these who, what, where, when's, and hows. But again, it's a very dark underground scenario below level 7 where many things take place, including government actions. And look, this is one of the biggest money makers in the world. And that's what people must always remember. All combined, when you look at football, basketball, and baseball, human trafficking has always made more money than any of them and all put together. So why would they not want to utilize another system? Why would the Arkansas committee?
We are experiencing a little bit of freezing. Could be throttling because they don't like what we're talking about. Could just be bad weather. Between Michael and
I don't know. I seem to
Florida.
Be good here. I can tell you that.
Bike sharing is back. Restrictions are down, almost non-existent, but the interference on broadcasts is still there. But I don't know.
Well,
anyway.
Here's one of the things that I've learned, and this is why I won't use headphones and headsets anymore. When you move your head at times, and I'm not saying this is in every case scenario, your Wi-Fi starts going in and out, going through frequency shortages. Yeah. And by moving and making certain reactions and you moving that microphone, the PC, your computer, your laptop, whatever it is you're using is having a problem staying steady in its frequency. And then the pitcher will do that. It's trying to repair the problem it's incurring while you're live on its own.
Yep. I don't like wearing them. I went back to wearing them because that way everybody doesn't have to hear what's going on in the broadcast. They just have to hear me yelling from all around the house if they have to hear that. But no. But realistically, I was going to say, if it is a problem for anyone watching, wait a few minutes after we end, go back and watch the podcast because the nice people at StreamYard or Restream where we're at tonight, they filter all of that crap out and they send a nice, clean, uninterrupted, unfreezing broadcast. So just wanted to bring that out to people's attention. Our guest is Michael Anthony, from Studio 10 o'clock Talks, American Disclosing Uncensored. He's now doing different media platform with Oracle Radio Network. He has access to some iHeartRadio slots. He has, I've heard, access to some TV, some real TV things. So
wherever they put me, it's fine.
Look around because we're one day when you don't expect to see him on. One question I wanted to ask you: Behar had a post today that says she wants the list of everyone who was at what she calls the Nuremberg rally, which was the rally where he spoke about, don't call him a Nazi. He's not a Nazi. His father, said to him, "Word, you're not anything like them," and all that. Now she wants the list of everybody who was there. And my response on that post was, well, I can't wait until he's president back in the White House. And on November 6th, he's doing The View, because usually the president does The View the day after getting elected. And he looks at her and says, "You're fired."
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a lot of "you're fired" going on, a lot of executive orders. He's going to come in strong, but he's going to have to be ready for a battle as well. Why don't you put up some of the comments here? I think I see something about Civil War. I'm interested in that.
Let me see. I don't have it on this one yet. I do have a follow-up from when we were talking about Ray Rhodes said, why wait 31 years for complaining other than the fact that he is 4 days away from becoming president of the United States. That goes back to Stacey Williams. Also, it said before that she was dating Epstein at the time that this took place. And I think people are still trying to find some connection between Trump and Epstein, because there's like a few pictures of them at the same parties. I don't know where the parties were.
They pass into parties. There's no doubt about it. He admitted that clearly. Right. So, I mean, but the thing is this. There was a point in time where he did make direct comments. And if you guys missed it, I'm sorry. But he basically told the world, when I learned about what this man was, I separated him from myself and Mar-a-Lago and told him to remove himself. That is fact. It's out there. Look it up. Yeah. No, something is here from Regina, maybe? Is it Regina?
Yeah.
All right. At the bottom one, I think it says something here. Yes, they are not going easy. They are evil. And you're right. They're not. They're not just going to want to give up. They may have something more prepared, more dangerous than we could ever figure out, because technology truly is in the hand of the New World Order that they want. And that's why they want us as the New World Order USA, where rainbows, Lucky Charms flags will hang now and American flags will be removed. But this will start a civil war. That's the worst case scenario way to look at it. We're going to have people that are going to react to actions, of course, but we better hope not for that, because the fear behind it is I don't care if you have the biggest cannon in the world. It can't outdo technology that we hold. And there is another elite army that has nothing to do with this country who holds even more, because they run this entire country. They run this entire world, and they are ready. They have many divisions of many people, of many cultures through training, and some of them have been infiltrated here. Our country is under occupancy right now and has been. We are like the occupied Japan. If any of you know what that is, it's a collectible, and it proves the facts of history. Many places, many countries have occupied the powers of other governments. That has happened here. It's been here. Look at the squad. Look at the representation right there. That should tell you enough that there has been an infiltration right in through our political leadership. But again, it's happened. But it's bigger than that. It's come from all different styles, ways, branches, lifestyles, marriages, double agents cheating on each other and giving intel and information to other countries. It's all a setup. It's all part of the setup. But let me say this to you. We're no longer at the place of an area of rifles and handguns. It's beyond that. That's what we have. Their technologies are far more superb. They need to only use them type of weapons with other countries. That's the way they look at it. Okay. They're growing from guns. Once upon a time, guns were the most important thing man could have. And they still are favorable, and we still need them, and they can be useful to us. But us, a civil war, listen to the man, not their plan. I used to use that a lot, and that's what I'm going to reflect back to right now. Listen to the man, not their plan. He will lead us. He will tell us. And if it came down to it, he's going to scream it like fight, fight, fight. You get what I'm saying? But that wasn't telling you to go armor up. That was telling you to stay in there, hang strong. We got this. We're going to continue forward. And he did. So fight, 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 vote, 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 pull the red lever, and let's see where we go. I mean, because nobody knows. Nobody truly knows. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. Let's see.
I know it's 1 hour.
Randy said, no, you want 8:30 if you want. I could remind you if you want. Randy said Lancaster County DA finds fraud in hundreds of voter registration applications. Goes on to say the Lancaster County District Attorney's Office is continuing its investigation into approximately 2,500 voter registration applications, announcing Wednesday that hundreds were found to be fraudulent. Now, why would
copyright?
Well, why would they take any chances in Pennsylvania if Pennsylvania is so into Harris becoming president? And what I also wanted to ask is, you may know yes or no, is she any relation to the Harris of Harrisburg, or the Harrises of Harrisburg, or is that just a coincidence?
I've made mention to a couple of those things, and I said that isn't it funny that sometimes these other names reflect. And look, when you look across the United States of America, many of the old names of areas were changed because of the people who actually represented them and ran them. It wasn't until we started to create grid lines and patterns and sequences of placements for different states, 48, when we look at the lower 48, in fact. So you have these things. And there's a lot of the people, of the most powerful people on the lands of this big Mother Earth ship that we're on that are much further control than we ever will be. That's true. Randy says all those words are copyrighted. Well, then you better go back to the beginning of the show because you'll see I used them before me, and now we're going to talk about who copyrighted who.
No.
It's a joke. Go ahead, Dave.
It is. And if someone brings up a copyrighted statement or uses a copyrighted statement in the live chat, from what I understand, they're the ones who get the copyright violation at me, but I don't care. We don't need to talk about them. I don't really care.
There is no copyright to what we're talking about.
Well, there isn't.
A hypothesis of systems of problems, symptomatic problems, and they're real, and we're faced with them. And as we go the next couple of days, other things will probably pop up as well. But who knows? Maybe all the chess moves haven't been made by Trump. Maybe there's something bigger that'll happen in the final 48 for the big event that may not have nothing to do with him, but have everything to do with them. Again, who's to know? How far will he, say anything or speak on things? The one thing Trump doesn't do is he doesn't cross over a certain line when it comes to information. He just doesn't go there. Where he goes is let's concentrate on making the country great again. And he does include us. I hope he does that within his administration, that he puts some type of citizen review board in there with him. And I think he's one of the only presidents that ever have, in ways, shared information, but not always on the forefront, but within his office and within doing things of his office, like the Kennedy files and so forth. He just didn't feel it was time to tell the American people the information. And I think now we'll come into it with Kennedy by his side. And this is probably one of the most valuable reasons that Kennedy's there, is because he wants the world to know how evil these people truly are and how far they will go. You want to read that big comment? Because I just, illegal.
I will do my best. Craig Peterson, who I trust when he posts, never posted something Craig. This long, but basically, there's
All right.
more numbers of illegal in American elections by state. There's the Social Security number that they use. The numbers are growing each week. There are collectively 10 million that have voted already. You have to go through and look at the state. Look at the comment from Craig to see if your state is in there. Take an entire broadcast to read off every single state. But go back and comment to see if your state is listed in there. But I know they're supposedly. I heard as far as Virginia or West Virginia
Hey,
goes, the governor was asked to take was the governor wanted to take illegal immigrants and I believe dead people who were registered, wanted to take their names out. I believe they went to court and he won, but then I believe they went to court again and he lost, and their votes will be counted. Do you know the latest on that?
No, everything is still out pending. We know that there are some cases being looked at. Some cases were never filed yet, but look where the strength is, and that's probably why you're seeing the allowabilities of that to occur. Should we worry about some of this? Of course. You know, I kid you not. I kid you not. When I told people just days after the first arrivals came, they were only the ones you were seeing, not the ones that were coming by through the northern border, not the ones coming through California, not the ones that were making their way through Florida that got stopped. Thank God that happened. But they were also coming in by air to our military bases and were being distributed. But I did say this is going to be a platform for vote, because if you come here, we will give you everything you will need: housing, food, clothing, cars, healthcare, children's educations. We will give you the dream and take it and remove it from the American people for you. And they are. Why? Because they got permission to vote for them in ways, and told them part of your agreement will rely on your accountability to vote for the Democratic Party that brought you here.
With us, I promise, as I said, if you go back and watch at the end of the live.
Yeah, you got to go back to the beginning, man. You got to go back to the beginning. You don't want to miss this stuff.
Right. The freezing is edited out of the podcast, and you can watch it without the interruptions of that. And you do want to go back and watch it so that you can make sure you hear it. Roy Hambrick has joined us. Good evening, Roy. You're new, I believe. Daryl Rector, you've been on.
Roy's a good friend of mine, man. He really is he's a rock star warrior down there, man.
Good.
He's fighting hard. He has a great show, big platform. I go on every now and then. He's a good friend to me. I have nothing but respect for him, his work, his family. And I want to give him Godspeed on all his protection and everything, because, us with voices have our targets. And we need to win this, because it will protect every one of our voices here that ever spoke out about what we speak out about, because they will turn the page on us. Daryl Rector, good evening to you, man. You're a little late.
Well, Daryl's always late, but Daryl will go back and watch. Roy, I'm glad that you're here. And anytime you want to drop down into our bottom of the feed.
Yeah.
Facebook, that is available for you. Please do. We have learned a whole lot. The one who told me that I should do this about 6 years ago when I was watching him. So you're more than welcome to watch us Tuesday, Thursday, take part, and we all grow together.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you know. It matters about support and how people reflect, how patriotic they truly are. Because I see some people out there that get fascinating. And look, you know what? That's great. Get all the numbers you can. every one of us is playing a part to do something. It doesn't matter who has more knowledge. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we get across this finish line with a victory because they are already planning theirs. And, I made some important things and facts that you need to listen to. And going back to the fact, I don't know if I ever finished because that big list came up from Craig on where, no, I mean, truly, it's a good list. I mean,
Well, it is. It's a very good list.
And he sends me all this stuff too. And I kind of check it off with things that I see. Craig has been on the money on a lot of the things that he's promoted on to try to help America become great again. I mean, to keep people enlightened. You know, he's in a lot of our groups and messenger groups. He slams them with information, and it all matters in many ways.
Craig is a rock star, as you call him.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Absolute rock star. Yep. And let's see. This one. I don't think so because I watched the podcast and the freezing, and the audio problems are still there. Well, then it's being done. That's just proof that if it's still there in the podcast, that means it's on Facebook's end because Facebook gets an edited out version of.
I'm not freezing, and my voice isn't jerking because my dials would be screaming.
I understand
I've hit a perfect level.
Right, I understand that. So
you need a microphone and take them headset off, and put yourself up an audio speaker, something that you can plug in to the external jack, the same way you got your headphones. Just plug a speaker into there. That's all you need to do, and then get yourself a $10 microphone, and you'll be fine. I guarantee it.
I got the mic. I just can't find the cord, so I'll have to run out and buy a cord the next time I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I sub out my audio system because I got full surround into my system.
Right.
You know, I never take a picture of this side of what it looks like. It's pretty fascinating. I got to tell you. It took a while to get it back together after that pipe broke. You know, I mean, that was unexpected. But you don't think about those things when you're putting a room together. You figure everything's going to be okay. And then you get minus 40 degrees, and I didn't drip the water. And sometimes even new homes. You know, you got to run water when it gets really frigid like that. It pays to let the water run because if it does, it costs you less for the water than it does for your time. In my case, I fix everything. I couldn't imagine what it would have cost for everybody to do what I did that I had to do in the repair. But no, I would really suggest to you to get a small little system, cheap as you can find. And you know what? You'll find them at Goodwill. People turn them in, little TV audio sets with little turn-off knobs. And just plug it right in. Find yourself a wire at Goodwill. You know, take the time to go. Take $20 away. You'll come home with everything.
Yeah. We'll get it. We'll get it together. We'll get it together.
So, did you have a pretty good chat room tonight? A lot of people come in.
Let me see. We had. It's 145 the last time I looked.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, because you know what? They're suppressing us right now while we talk.
155 people are watching live, and I was able to get 60 shares out. They've made it more difficult because normally I can just call up the share list and go bang them down, bang out 60 in a row. Now it posts one share, so I have to go back and open the list again and pick the next one, and it just, but hopefully,
I get it.
Hopefully when Trump's back in the White House, that's going to change.
Yeah, well, you can hope, and if it doesn't, then you know your system needs some attention, as well as all the people that need attention out there that want to remind you every time you're flashing or freezing, as if sometimes we don't notice these effects right in front of us, because I can see you freezing. I'm sure you see you freeze. These well aware of the situation. We don't always know why it's happening. Right. Sometimes it could be the frequencies of what they do. Look what they did to me. And remember, they can get to any one of us through frequencies. Yeah. As people, they can do it to your home, because when you go to hook up your system, even though everything's going through wiring connections, somewhere within the technology, they can identify exactly where they need to turn the system onto. So
Of course
imagine
they can.
how they can buzz frequency anything they want.
Of course they can.
And by now, you would hope that people just got over it, know how difficult it is, and the fights and struggles behind promoting a good podcast. You're not, if you know what, get over it and stop doing it
Oh
if
no,
you don't
I'm
like
not.
it. Because right now, I'm not referring to you.
Oh, I know.
I'm not even referring to you.
I
I'm
know.
referring to the fact that people just need to accept the difficulties. That's all. Everybody, we have them. They're here.
Yep.
You know, don't let it frustrate you.
No,
This is part of the deal.
it just
Being
makes
frustrated.
it just makes me do it. It just makes me do it harder, and not meaning it makes it harder. It just makes me do it harder with more of a drive to do it,
Right.
and then joke back at them. You know, if you're throttling my speed down because I've got 155 people watching me in 60 groups on Facebook right now, what the hell is the point? You got big guys like Alex Jones who had 500,000 people watching in 10 million Facebook groups, and you never throttled him down. You know, well, you probably did before he had 500 million people watching in 50 million Facebook groups. You know,
Yeah.
that now he's making money. Facebook's making money off of him. They're not making money off of me, but I don't care. I'm not going anywhere.
I understand. I understand. Well, I had fun. And Craig, I agree with your comment. It could be a multiple of many things. I know I even have them, but yesterday I had a young lady on. Look, she was around the other side of the world. And I'm not saying it was the best feed, but it was deliverable. And you rely on the stream services to correct it and let their AI technology take out the imperfections and repair them as it goes through the next phase of replay. We hope for that stuff to happen. But when I do things locally, I haven't been really having problems.
Right.
I know that a lot of people are having problems, and all we can do at this point is keep fighting the fight and
Yep.
not worry about it.
No.
Hope for the replay to be a little bit better if you were missing things and if things were set of interest that you think you need to go back and listen to. And remember, mark your times down. Bring a tablet, bring a piece of paper. Something's on your mind. You want to put chat up for Dave? Write a note down, make the question, etc. Also, write down the times of whatever it is that you want to go back to so you don't have to reflect into the whole video.
Yeah.
Make it easier on yourself. Listen
Yeah.
to 5 minutes versus an hour and a half. So, with that said, I mean, even I do it. I kid you not, I do. I try to okay, I want to go back here because something was really interesting with these people. And
Yep.
not always when you're in a panel do you get the time or the element
No,
of time
you don't.
to be
Yeah.
able to discuss everything that was said by somebody else. You just
Yeah.
don't. It don't happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What?
I'm going to get out of here, man. I told you I'd give you an hour, and you took me to an hour and 20 minutes. That means I want my treat.
Wait a minute. I took it to an hour and 20 minutes. So that means the next time you're only going to give me 40 minutes?
Well, I brought that up. That don't sound bad. That don't sound bad.
All right, Michael.
I was thinking I'm going to go upstairs and watch Michael Myers or something, and try to celebrate my own childhood memories.
What's the next broadcast of Michael Anthony people should be looking for?
Well, I got a podcast coming on Monday where I'll be doing the second part of the tribute to Art Bell. Beth is going to be on. Steve Ghostman's coming back, but we're going to be sharing what's called some of the things that gave him these chills up and down the spine syndrome, because Art was the type of guy, he loved to hear about it, but he got freaked out by it while he heard it. And that was for him, in a way, you can call it a turn on or a rush. I don't know which one it was, but we're going to be talking about some of the segments that he did, some of the freakiness that's out there. Yes, it's after Halloween, but the point is this: it's not always about a day. We see strangeness everywhere, every day, unexplainable things. So is it about Halloween? In one way. Is it about Halloween? No, not really, because it's just interesting topics. But furthermore than that, it's about one of the most interesting men on the planet that delivered us informations on every level: ufology, bibliology, theology. I mean, you just, it was everywhere. People came in. It was archaeology. No, truthfully,
No, I
talking
know.
talking about the finds that they made, what they experienced while they were there. That's why I even do shows like that. And today I got a really nice conversation piece from Maria Wheatley, a renowned person. The other day I got a little note back from somebody else, huge in ufology, that worked right next to Corso. His secretary, second, his second of his next generation of life in connecting the dots of ufology and what the background behind these were the type of people that Art also had on. So to me, I'm honored, and it's a privilege for me to be able to talk to these. They were my mentors. They are the heroes. They are the whistleblowers. They are the ones that brought all the informations across the board that made things interesting. However, we touched on a lot of that in the first segment. The second segment is, I think we're just going to try to stay focused into what Art used to call spooky matters. Those things that go bump in the night and so forth. And no, it's going to be a belated thing of Halloween. But, there were so many shows, so many people doing things. I don't know where they got the ideas from. I'm just saying, I don't know, but I know I've been doing them for years. But suddenly everybody's doing them. So, but mine's about Art Bell. Nobody's doing that, and he is like the forefather of the front behind the microphone. And Art, in case you're listening now, because sometimes I wonder in my house what's going on here. Your mic will be on Monday night.
Monday night. Go to the Michael Anthony Facebook page, become his friend. You'll get the notification when he's live. Go there and watch. You'll learn. Share it so that other people can watch and learn. Invite your friends to watch so they can watch and learn. And I guess the final word to say is pull the red lever.
Pull the red lever. Let's get the normalcy back so we can do shows we enjoy. Yep. But I don't think that's going to truly happen 100%. I think we're going to be in a war after the war that's going to dictate some of the time where it will need people like us to come on. How much of a difference will we make at that point in time? I don't know. But let's hope that Trump is our, 47th president, if he's not already 19. And we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
All Later, right, Michael. Dave. Thank you. Michael Anthony, Studio 10 o'clock Talks, America, Disclosing, Uncensored. You've seen him around all our broadcasts, and you should watch his as well. So let's see. Today is Thursday. This is the part of the program where I say you have been watching Boogie with the Bulls Thursday Night Live, a copyrighted presentation of the No Nothing Broadcasting Company. And I will just leave it at that. We are on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Chuck Cook is usually with us. Sometimes, no, generally, it's 9 or 10 o'clock. That's too early for it's 8 o'clock in Idaho. But Chuck Cook is on, and anyone else who wants to join us is more than welcome to join us on that. Tuesday, Thursday night, Jen Woodruff is usually on Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays. Jerry Michaels joins us a lot. Daryl Rector has joined us, I think, once before. Nikki Young will join us on occasion. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the American Rebellion blogger page here on Facebook. Join Jerry Michaels for the American Rebellion. Nikki Young is there a lot. I'm there a lot. Michael has been there a few times. Jen Woodruff is there. And you never know who else might be there. If you see Robert Lawless, the Minnesota Madman, I know he's always welcome there. He used to pop in a lot. And like I said, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, if you want to pop in on ours and you're around, you're more than welcome to pop in and be a part of the broadcast. Either let me know an hour before, so Monday, Wednesday, let me know by 9 a.m. Eastern that you want to be part of the broadcast, and as long as there is a camera slot for you, I will send you the link about 9:45, and we go live at 10 o'clock. Same thing, Tuesday, Thursday. If you want to be part of the broadcast, let me know by 6 p.m. Eastern time, and we will send you a live link at 6:45, and we go live at 7 o'clock. We end at 8:30. Sometimes we go to 9 o'clock. But usually we try to keep it to 8:30 because my wife, if she's working, the next morning is in bed by 9 o'clock, sometimes earlier. And she can't sleep if I'm doing all this racket in the bedroom studio. Happy Halloween to you, Ronald. I'm glad you tuned in and watched. Let's see, Regina Musser watched, Jane O'Malley, my buddy watched, Jerry Gaines. I'm glad to see you here. And Daryl Rector watches all the time, but Daryl Rector is busy, so if he finds the time, I'm very happy that he's here. Craig Peterson is always welcome. Like Michael said, his comments are always spot on and usually gives facts that so much facts that a lot of the time I wish we could just get Craig to join us on the broadcast because he's so good. He needs to be on the broadcast. Randy Rhodes was here. All roads lead you home. Genealogy Services. Go to the Randall Rhodes Facebook page and message him if you are looking for genealogy services, and he can help you. Roy Hambrick, as Michael said, is someone he knows with broadcasts of his own, and he is one you're welcome to come join us on ours if you can stomach your way through it. And let's go near the top. William Grant was the first one to get here. William Grant has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcasts than anybody else except for Danny Campbell. They run the record depending on who watches. The last one I had done, and scrolling back, Jane O'Malley was here, Stephen Clark was here, Chuck Cook was out trunk or treat tonight, which is why he was not here. Trunk or treat, excuse me, which is why he was not here. William Rayfield from the Patriots Lab Uncensored, was in the live chat. Go to the William Rayfield page and look, because Ray doesn't always have a schedule. He just goes live when it's time for him to go live. And if you are his friend, you'll get notified when he goes live. And watch it. He is the man, as I said before, actual and factual, doesn't mess around with a lot of the quote-unquote bull excrement as I bring into my broadcasts sometimes. And let's see, Brooklyn Pagano, my buddy, Brooklyn, is watching. And Robin Brunson is watching as well. So let's see, one more final count. We'll kick this out. Whoops, kick this out. That out. Come back in here. Slide down here. 189 people watching with 62 shares. That's very good. That means that we have gotten our shares back from Facebook. Unfortunately, like I said, I used to just be able to open up the broadcast, hit share, go down a list of all the groups that I'm in, and bang out 60 shares in about 35 seconds. This time it took me about 10 minutes of the broadcast to do it, but I don't care. However we get it out so that everybody can watch it is the important thing. If you don't see it in the group that you want, it's on my profile. Take it, put it in the group, and as long as the admins and moderators let it stay in that group, let me know, and I'll keep feeding it to that group. Most of the groups that I send it to, I'm a member of. But if you don't see it in the group that you think it should be in, let me know. And if I'm not a member of the group, I'll join the group and I will send it there when we do it. Anyway, it's time to say goodnight. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Slide up over here. One more time. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end.